I know that 2026 is a time to embrace more wealth, more opportunity, more prosperity, more joy, more happiness, but we sort of have to get it together. So to get us there, I created a program called the Held Container. Let me ask you a question. Does your life work because you feel you hold everything together? You brace for things, you brace for life. If you can say yes to that, then I invite you to pause. Take a breath. The Held Container is a small, intentional program designed to replace bracing with structure so your nervous system can rest and money no longer feels stressful or overwhelming. This isn't about pushing harder, fixing yourself, or doing more. It's about creating safety, stability, support where you've been carrying everything alone. I've opened this program for only 6 people. 6 people who are ready to allow money to feel safe instead of stressful and to experience what it's like to be held by structure rather than pressure. I think we can all identify with that. So if this feels calm instead of exciting, it's not a coincidence. Your system is already responding to the Held Container. Apply now. Apply at nagarelife.com. I hope we get to work together. Hello, welcome to Find Your Flow, listeners. So today's episode is a little different from what I normally do here at Find Your Flow, because today's episode is part of a Podcast-A-Thon, which is a worldwide event that allows us to celebrate our favorite nonprofits, to draw attention to the amazing work that they do, and to hint, hint, nudge, nudge, hopefully entice you to make some donations to these nonprofits to keep their doors open and keep their lights on. There is a link on the BioBuilder website for you to be able to make a donation. Anything you can offer will help. And today's episode is dedicated to learning all about the BioBuilder Educational Foundation. When I was invited to participate in this Podcast-A-Thon, there was nobody that came to mind faster than my guest here, and that is my dear friend, Dr. Natalie Kuldell. That might be the first time I've ever used doctor. Now, listen, listeners, you know that I am a little bit of a nerd when it comes to science. So it should come as no surprise to you at all that one of my closest friends is a brilliant scientist. Natalie is brilliant, and I don't say that term lightly. She is a molecular biologist and a passionate educator who combined these 2 parts of her, these 2 paths, to create the BioBuilder Educational Foundation. I'll let her tell you all about it. Chances are, I think she's got a better way of explaining all of this to you than I do. But suffice it to say, I am honored that she even has the time to take these moments to spend with me, and that she has chosen to spend these moments with me. Let's sit down, let's chat, let's find out all about BioBuilder Educational Foundation. Natalie Kuldell, my friend of, I don't know how it's possible, 30 years. Welcome.
Lisa, I am so happy to have this time with you. Thank you for thinking of me. Thank you for sharing your time and your positivity and your energy with us.
Oh my God. Well, I'm surprised I could make it through that little opener. I don't normally read an opener. I usually just sort of wing it. I felt like I had to write it because otherwise I'm going to just start crying. I love you so much. Listeners probably hear me cry in probably 99.5% of my episodes. But this is real, everybody. This goes beyond friendship. We were just saying, when Natalie and I get together, when we have that privilege of getting together, we sort of take these professional, and I'm air quoting for those who are just listening, but these professional sides of us, and we put it like over on the counter somewhere so that we can enjoy each other. But now we get to bring it all together, and I'm so very excited to share your brilliance with the world. Will you please introduce yourself and then tell us all about BioBuilder?
Yes, thank you. I'm just so honored, really, to have this time with you. It's really just such a joy always to spend time with you, and I appreciate the chance to talk about BioBuilder. I think it is really vitally important right now. I think teaching our young people is always important, but at this moment, being brave about how we approach our education of these young people and thinking differently now is really vital. Our world is changing so fast, right? And getting young people ready for their future takes time, and we need to invest now if we're going to have the future that we all want. With that sort of big swing, I will say that, as you mentioned, I'm a scientist by training. I'm also a science nerd, but also creative. You know, you and I
Yes.
have these connections that are certainly personal and also long, but also on the creative level as well as on the intellectual level and in the sort of
Varied.
global.
Very,
So
very varied. Yes.
it is really, it's a joy, I'll say, to work in a way that brings the creative side and brings your best self to your work, which is really where I think BioBuilder has allowed me to be. It's a lot of hard work to run a nonprofit. So thank you for spotlighting this one, and shout out to all the nonprofit leaders who are muddling their way through this messy middle of getting through, rough times. So science education is something that we all kind of know is important. When I talk about this, I don't think I have ever been told that what I'm doing is a stupid waste of my time. I think that most people
God, I hope not.
Science education as important, but it doesn't always percolate to the top of, there isn't always the urgency around it. So if there's one thing that people can take away from this conversation, I would hope that that is an urgency around rethinking the way we train young people in science. And so I'll say a little bit about the urgency, and then I'll say a little bit about what BioBuilder does, and then we can take this however you would like to go. So why is it so urgent to think about training young people in science right now? At a national level, it is really vital to focus on biotechnology as a way to secure our future as a country. There are many, many countries that are thoughtfully investing in how they train young people in biotechnology in particular. They're putting a lot of money into it. They're putting a lot of coordination efforts into it. And without a bioliterate country, we really run the risk of losing our lead to geopolitical rivals that are going to not think about biotechnology the way we do, as a way to build better health and better wellness and better communities for our future as a country. In terms of a national profile, it's very important that we get biotechnology right, because if we don't, others are going to, and then we are going to be at their. So there's that. And then locally, or at the state level at least, life sciences has got a lot of really good jobs. And it's good jobs for people that don't necessarily have to go to college. And so with the idea that we can help bring wealth-building careers and purposeful jobs to people everywhere, bio is a great option. And so bringing biotechnology to states all across our country, all the states, my big ambition now is to have a BioBuilder program in every high school in America. I can't think of a high school that shouldn't have it. So there are 25,000 public high schools. We have a lot of work to do. So we'll get at it. So I think there's a national security issue countrywide. I think there's a state issue in terms of just economy and jobs. And then there's just a personal fulfillment issue, right? There's the way we teach science. You sit in the seat long enough in your biology class, you get a good grade, you move on. And I'm not sure that actually prepares you for a future, right? In fact, I'm pretty sure it doesn't, because being a good scientist is more than just being able to recite facts. If that's all it took was memorizing a book, we'd have a lot of people who could be really great scientists. And also we're losing a lot of talent, because that's what we tell people, right? Is that memorize chapter 7 about the Krebs cycle, I'll quiz you on it, and then you're a scientist. And that's just not attractive it doesn't do science justice, because science is creative. Getting back to the idea that
absolutely
you lean into this creativity, your intuition, your judgment, your ways of piecing together things that other people don't piece together. That's really at the heart of science, working collaboratively, kicking around ideas and being open to other people's interpretations. I mean, all that is the joy of science, and we don't teach that when we teach science. So if I'll just transfer real quickly to a conversation about BioBuilder, and then we can go wherever you want to be.
Yes, please.
BioBuilder comes out of my teaching from the Department of Biological Engineering at MIT. So this is a way of teaching biology as a problem-solving tools. Engineers like to build things. They like to take what's known and use that knowledge to solve a challenge that they see and that is important to them. So that's what we do with biology. We take biology and teach the tools to make it possible to solve challenges that the students perceive as important, and we're not telling them what they should apply it towards, but in my experience, we've been around for about 14 years now, a little more. Students have great ideas. They want to clean up plastic in the ocean. They want to make fuels that don't rely on petroleum. They want to make foods that don't require so much water to grow. And they want to make, oh gosh, there's some really cool ideas. One I'm thinking of is like a sunscreen that when you swim, it comes off and it repopulates the coral reefs.
Stop it.
I know. How about this one? How about...
Who's that little genius? Gee.
How about one that if you wanted to go to Mars, you're going to need vitamins. So how about a way of making microbes like yeast, when you make a bread with it, also make vitamin C, right? So you don't have scurvy on your way up to Mars. So I know. So it's just
what the pirates learned on the ocean so many hundreds of years ago. The pirates going through our solar system.
Exactly.
They too will have scurvy. Hello.
They will have scurvy. There aren't going to be orange trees on that shuttle, whatever that is. Anyway, so the students have great ideas. And when you can give them the tools to solve those and use biology to come up with a novel system, they get so excited, and then they see themselves in science. That is a critically important piece. And then I'll stop ranting about BioBuilder.
I love your rant. Are you kidding me? Take your time.
We have curriculum that really helps students see themselves as scientists. And I think that is so foundational, right? If you can develop that science identity early, then the possibility of going into science or becoming part of a science literate society, it doesn't scare you. It doesn't freak you out. It stays open, right? Instead of closing the door on that possibility. So building a science identity early is, I think, what BioBuilder does very well. We do that through this project-oriented curriculum that we offer to schools and teachers. We also do it through skill building. A lot of people really like to build things. We have these thumbs that we like to do.
I loved it. That was my favorite part in high school.
Yeah. So being in the lab is really fun, and we need people who are in the lab. We need people who can work in processes that are necessary to get the biotechnologies out to people. And so those are really good jobs that are gratifying. And so we teach people the skills and also the ways of thinking to be part of the bioeconomy and the bio revolution for the future. So that's what we do.
It's just a small endeavor. Listeners, I told you she was brilliant. Listen, I remember 4:00 in the morning, Natalie sitting at her kitchen table, getting all of this shit together and filling out all the forms and trying to get this going. And here we are so many years later.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. And I also remember, and you still do, travel all over the place all the time, talking about this, trying to get into our public school system, not just into the private schools, but to offer this to kids of all diversified upbringings, to show them possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I grew up very privileged and I had a great education. Science, the sciences. I mean, listen, I couldn't get out of math class fast enough, but the second I started physics, the second I started chemistry, the second I started biology, I was like, this I love. I mean, Natalie even knows, like, my old kitchen counter was modeled off of the tabletop in a lab. I just loved it that much, and it lives with me. Now, these are skills that, because of my natural curiosity, I just kept them going.
Yes.
But they are in high school. That is a tough stigmatism here in our culture. I think if you are a science nerd, I wear that badge with like honor.
Yeah.
But it is a stigmatism, and not everybody likes that label. So I'm sure that a lot of kids shy away from science. And then there's this badge of honor that becomes, I'm not good at science, so I'm not smart enough for science.
Right.
When science is literally just a curiosity.
Yeah.
And a way to ask questions, and a way to find answers, and a way to discover and dig through information.
Yeah.
And to talk, to learn to communicate.
Yeah.
It's critical. I find it to be critical, which is why I love BioBuilder. It's why you're here today. Can you tell me, take me to the kits and the textbook and the education, like the box of magic that gets dropped off here at these schools that accept this into their programming. What is offered to students?
Right. Thank you for the good question, because it's the how, right? How do we get this done?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I have definitely taken the scenic route in a career. This is not where I thought I would be, right? And even in starting BioBuilder, I think I just had the idea of how hard could this be, right? And then it turns out it's really hard. And so the resources that we've developed have really been responsive to the needs at each moment of the growth of this organization. So it wasn't as if I had a grand plan that first I'm going to get the kits, and then I'm going to get the book, and then I'm going to get the tour and the sales, all that. So it was not. It was that I started working with high school teachers who felt like they had a lot to teach and they don't have more time to teach it in their classrooms, but they could teach it differently. Wanted to teach it in a way that was lasting and meaningful to their students. So this is a very teacher-driven curriculum. We worked first on the curriculum together, partnering with high school teachers to say, this will fit into my lab. I can swap what I'm doing here that I know doesn't work with something that we've now developed together and bring in the engineering piece to the way of thinking and approaching this question. So it started with teachers and teacher training. And then from there, the teachers really would train them over the summer. And then I'd have a notebook that they would leave the teacher training sessions with. And then come March, when they were actually like starting to teach it again, they'd pull out their folders and they'd call me and they'd say, gosh, I'm missing a page. Can you tell me what we did here? Can you remind me with this?
I don't remember.
Exactly. Tell me again how this works. And so we took all those teacher training materials and put them into the textbook. So the book is really for supporting the teacher, somebody who is coming at this fresh. It is not a book for the sophisticated experts who already know a lot of biology. It's really taking, how do you bring engineering into biology? And we refresh people's memories about biology. We introduce engineering concepts and really do it at a very ground floor to be able to scaffold on top of that. So it was the teacher training, it was the textbook. And then for many academic years, I would be at my lab at MIT and I'd be, pipetting in little droplets of DNA and solutions, and I'd package them up and I'd walk them down to the post office and I'd send them to teachers. And somebody finally said to me, Ellie, you're really not in the shipping business. Like, you can do this, but the kits should not come with a little like sticky heart that says package by Natalie, right? And that the teachers would really appreciate actually having a way to order them in advance and have them arrive when they need them because of snow days. So we partnered
with... Stick a sticker on that.
Yeah.
Right, put a love note in that.
Exactly. And we do. We put stickers and we put all kinds of fun stuff in there. But we partnered with a distribution company. And that, I think, was like a big step up in our organization, because it allowed us to focus on what we do well, which is building out training and building out curriculum and helping to support the community that's adopting it. Because teachers are very brave bringing anything new into their classroom. Sure. And they need to feel like they're part of a community that if something goes off the rails, there's somebody that will be there to ask. And so we've been focusing mostly on that over the last handful of years, and it has really helped support the growth of the organization because those other mechanical pieces are in place. The book is available. The kits can get shipped from this distribution company. And so now what we do is train the teachers, build a community of practice among the teachers, expand the curriculum and bring in new aspects. And we can do what we do well while other people are supporting the growth of the organization.
That is fantastic. Yeah. Avoid burnout. So a lot of Find Your Flow is all about burnout. What happens in that moment when you discover that I've taken on like a whole lot and I've created a life here that is not satisfying or fulfilling in any way. And in fact, I'm like bleeding out in a corner somewhere. So for you to have recognized that, and I know you are, I mean, listen, anybody can read your bio and say, she's a bit of a hard worker. Like,
I don't shy away from hard work, but
you do not.
Exactly right. I mean, there are parts of my job that give me huge energy boosts, and then there are parts of my job that just drain my energy.
For sure.
And now there are also parts of my job that is actually somebody else's job. And so for me to be able to grow the amount of time I spend on the things that give me energy and that I'm uniquely suited to do, and try to delegate the things that suck my energy out that somebody else could do, and make sure that the people I have hired or who are working with us to do the other parts are actually doing their job, it will sustain the organization, which at this point is my key, like my North Star right now, is to make sure that this is a sustainable organization.
Legacy.
Busy isn't a growth strategy, right? We can be really busy.
Oh, can you please say that again? I think, please.
Yeah. Being busy is not a scalable strategy.
No, it is not.
It's not. So you can end up being super busy, and then at the end, you're not any closer to having something that will outlive you than you were before you put all that time and energy into the doing of it. Like, we do a lot, but that's not the strategy right now, is to do. Yeah.
And at some point you have to transition from doing, right? Which I get in the very beginning. You are a solo act with like friends that you can bounce ideas off of. But at the end of the day, 4 a.m., you're the one doing all of the work.
Right.
And at some point that has to transition into something that is not just fulfilling, but sustainable.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Right? That's the only way to create legacy. And that's for anything in your life, listener. This is applicable to absolutely anything. You could be a stay-at-home mom. And have, I mean, what do you want your legacy to be? Do you want it to be a healthy, thriving, loving relationship with your children?
Right.
If that's your legacy, well, then you can't be stuck in the doing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Like, your children will thrive if they learn to dress themselves. Not if you are... Like, they're 18 and you're still like, come on now, let's put on your clothes. Right? Like, that's the shit that just can't happen, because one day you wake up and you go, I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore. And I love that you've taken all of that, and you've ebbed and you've flowed and you've twisted and you've turned, and you took the long way. And there's something to be said about that. When you're a pioneer, there is no path. There is no straight line.
Yeah.
There is no how we do it. Like when we became moms the very first time, you go, why is there no manual? Why am I bringing this baby home with me? Who trusts me with this? Like, this is a freaking life, right? But it's the exact same thing. Like, you hear BioBuilder is your baby, and it's a new way of educating our educators,
right,
so that they can educate our next
exactly,
to be able to think and learn and reason and have communications and to look at things with passion, but without necessarily judgment.
Right.
And that's a huge difference.
Yep.
So just because you're a pioneer does not mean it's going to be easy. In fact, when you're the pioneer of anything in life, listeners, it's harder. It's a shit ton harder. It's so freaking hard, because you're given a machete and your dream and like sent on your way. Like, that's it.
True.
So, my friend, you have not only just cleared the path for yourself, you've cleared it for these next generation of kids who are coming through, who get to say, gee, this is fun.
Yeah.
And you've sort of parted the waters for them so that they don't have to constantly push against a tidal wave of pessimism and of judgment and of, come hell or high water, this is my dream.
Yeah.
You've made it easier.
And fun. Easier and fun.
And fun.
Exactly right. You are.
Guys, I've been to the lab. I've been to the lab space in Boston, Massachusetts. And it's beautiful. It's listen, I know it's a dream come true for you.
It is.
It's for those of us who get to watch on the peripheral of your life. It's a dream come true for us, because we get to see you fulfilling your dreams. Tell me about this space. Tell the listeners about this space. It's so beautiful. It's awe-inspiring for those of us who haven't been in a lab since high school. So it's been really like close to 40 years for me. That's kind of scary, but this is not about me. Let me rock over here and sweat. Tell us about your lab space and what that offers these students who get to put on just the lab coat. Like, just putting on the uniform changes who these students are.
Absolutely.
Profoundly. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so glad you mentioned the lab coats, because there is this magical moment watching the students put on these lab coats for the first time. And it is
It's like giving a med student the stethoscope.
I know.
It's a big deal. It is. It's a big deal.
It goes back to this notion of identity of like, this feels good. I look good in this lab coat. I can do this. Right? Instead of, as you say, this sort of wave of negativity and this self-doubt and the judgment. They're in a lab coat. They're in a lab. And you asked me to talk about the labs. So what distinguishes our labs here in Boston from many others, like maker spaces or things like that, is that these are industry standards. So we are inside of biotech companies that house our training facilities, and we use industry standard equipment. So when the students come in here, they are using the same pipettes. They have the same spectrophotometers and centrifuges that they will see when they go into research labs, either at college or when they get their jobs in industry. So we are training them to be ready to step into that role. And there's a dual benefit of that, right? Not only are the students ready to be successful on day one when they start, but also industry gets the talent that they need. And they don't have to worry about the, just onboarding, that long onboarding period of the skills and the knowledge and also the attitudes about being in a research, right?
Yes.
That it is collaborative, that there's always things to do, that, you're not done when you're done with your experiment. There's a lot of like additional, and there's a citizenship about being in the lab. So all of those things are baked into our teaching spaces. We have one in Boston Seaport in the Innovation Design Building, and one in Alston near Harvard Business School, and in a beautiful space. And they're welcoming spaces, but they are also training spaces that really elevate the students. This is what I absolutely see is, if you raise the expectations on the students, they will meet them.
Every single
expectations is not a strategy for success for our future.
It really isn't. I never understand curating education to the lowest common denominator. I don't understand that. Not when you have 100% potentiality.
Exactly. Because the students don't know what they...
Right.
Like if you lower expectations, they're meeting them. They don't know that there are higher things that they could do. They're meeting your expectations. So, the idea that Johnny's doing the best he can is just so disheartening. No.
I'm sorry. That's a little bit of bullshit right there. Johnny can get it together.
Get it together, Johnny.
Get it together, Johnny. Let's go.
And it will serve Johnny well, right?
Yes, it will.
Because they'll know that they can do it, and they're not being diminished through their education.
It's disempowering, right?
Exactly.
It's extremely disheartening, disempowering.
Yeah.
To lower the confidence of someone it's such a critical age.
Absolutely.
Instead of championing, oh my God, what they could become.
Yeah.
And not for nothing. Say you don't even want a career in the sciences. Okay, fine. But you are learning critical thinking.
Exactly.
And you are meeting a challenge and going, well, my God, I never thought that I could function in a lab in my high school. I never thought that I could do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And yet I did it. So, geez, what could I do with something that I actually feel called to be able to do in my life?
Absolutely. Yep. Asking a question, you talked about, it starts from curiosity. Asking a question, getting an answer, and then that critical thinking part of, does that answer really answer my question? Or do I need to go back and ask a different question? Do I need to ask it differently? Do I need to get more information? That's going to serve them well, especially, I'll tell you, in this age of AI,
Absolutely.
of all kinds of what is truth moment we're in, right? How do you distinguish fact from fiction? Well, it's going to take critical thinking. Does this answer the question? Right. So, it will
and
serve
it's,
them.
I think something that's missing in our current education, at least, our kids, they're right around that same age, and they've all, my son he's in his last semester of college, but they are, can you even believe that? But anyway,
I can't.
Shocking. It's shocking.
How did that happen?
Listeners, you don't understand. Like Natalie and I saw ourselves pregnant with our first. So to be thinking like our babies are what? Wait, huh?
I know.
But watching them go through the education system and then watching their younger cousins go through the education system, the vast difference just between our kids who are in their 20s versus the teenagers right now, it's shocking to me. I mean, I thought it was bad enough that our kids were being taught to an exam. Like, we're going to teach you the information that's going to be on the test, and you never have to learn how to think. This is like the COVID generation and younger. I feel like even that baseline has been lowered.
Agreed.
Like,
you're getting rid of the test.
You're not even comfortable with the test. Okay, so we'll change everything.
Right.
And I can speak to that because my husband he is a professor of finance at the college level. So he was dealing with it just from that, major.
Yep.
So to be able to start to go, okay, wait a second, we'll take this right back to Pirates on a Ship, but to be able to like turn the ship around.
Right.
Did you see what I did there, Lisa?
I saw. I
am so clever. I out-clever myself
you
sometimes.
Always have been, Lisa.
I'm really funny.
It is.
But to be able to get to this point in time to say, okay, we actually have to learn to think because thinking allows you to have the power of discernment.
Yes.
And that discernment gives you the period of pause to go, okay, does any of this make sense? How does that feel? How does that resonate? And if it doesn't, to be able to talk to someone else without the fear of blowback. I mean, my God. So when you're taught to the test, you're taught this binary, it's right or it's wrong. You're never taught the gray in between. It's either right or it's wrong, and then there's no explanation.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is show me your work.
Yes.
I mean, this is just like, let's see where it went wrong.
Show me your work on a problem that matters to you.
Yes.
And I'm really curious about what you've done. And have you thought about this? And for many of our students, this is the first time they've spoken to a scientist. So some of our programs,
incredible.
I know, some of our programs pair up teams of design, biodesign students with a scientific mentor. And those mentors are there to say, I like that idea. What about this? Or did you read this? Or here's an article I just like. They are really going back and forth around ideas. And I think it just validates the students as participants in this future that we're building together. So I don't think there's really anything more important than that. Because if you shut the door and tell them, sit down and memorize chapter 7, it just does not welcome and invite people into this future together.
And they have clearly such great ideas. I mean, stuff that never would even cross my mind.
I know.
We didn't grow up with the possibility of someone going off to Mars and populating another planet. You know what I mean? Like, that was in sci-fi movies, and you were like,
absolutely.
Yeah. And if Will Smith can't do it, then I can't do it, right? Like, that's who am I? And they're all like, yeah, but Matt Damon did with potatoes,
and he got
of
back.
all things. But they're actually thinking in a totally different way, which is so exciting. It's so exciting. There's so much potential there. Yeah. I think our next generation just keeps getting more and more brilliant in their ability to shut out the noise.
Because I think not enough people hear that. Yes.
It's seriously, it is something that I am super, super passionate about. I love these next generation. I love the way they think. I love their boundaries. Listen, can I parent that? Thank God, no, I didn't have to, because I don't know. I don't know how I would handle that if it were like in my face. Luckily, I've got, in their 20s who can have a conversation with me and not a 10-year-old who is like, boundaries, Mom. I don't know. I don't know.
I'll show you boundaries.
I'd be like, you want to know your boundary? Your boundary is right here, mister, by my side. There's your boundary. Sit down.
You got your boundary. Get in your chair.
I do admire it because I do think that their natural capacity to sort of rage against the norm.
Yes.
And to push as hard as they can and in the right circumstances, given the right amount of encouragement, they don't give. Oh my God, they don't give up.
No.
They're like, hold the perimeter and they will join arms. It's just incredible to me.
Yes, I agree.
And then teach them how to think. Like, teach them how to not just react, but to actually think and to listen.
Yep.
I think that changes the world. I really, really do.
I think it does. Telling them that their ideas matter. Yep. And that they can do it. And here are the tools, and let me help you. Yep.
My God. Yeah. So I'm going to have to agree with this. Ding, ding, ding. In every school.
Yeah.
In every high school.
Who shouldn't? Who
And
shouldn't have this?
if you could add another 24 hours to every single day, if you could maybe create a curriculum for, say, middle school.
Yes.
Or elementary school.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
Absolutely. And part of just my growth in leading this organization is to appreciate that there is a universe of things we could do.
Yes.
And there's a really small
Yes.
number of things we have to hit out of the park to actually be successful. But that just means that I don't have sharp elbows. I know that there are other things we need to partner with in order to make this happen.
Yeah.
So I am all about going, what is that phrase? You can go fast alone, but you can go farther together, right?
Yes, absolutely. And
So
if the
that's my goal.
legacy of BioBuilder is to increase outreach and to hit kids at younger ages,
Yes.
I mean, I think about even when I was little, to be able to have a doctor's kit, to be able to have, back then we had like crazy ass things where we could actually have Bunsen burners in our dining room and set things on fire.
I know.
I was that kid. I was the kid who took a telephone apart to see how it functioned, who took the vacuum cleaner apart and then rebuilt it. I was that kid. I wanted to know how things worked. If I could get pipettes and a Bunsen burner in my own dining room, I was all over that.
Exactly.
Put that right next to my dinosaur diorama. I was so happy.
Yep, exactly. We have a lot of biology in our home. We do, there are lots of fridges that have kimchi in them, lots of fridges that have yogurt in them, lots of fridges that have pickles. And so we do biology, we bake bread, people brew beer. All of this is a very natural integration of bio and biotechnology in our lives. And so I think some of what we'll do is change the way people think about biotechnology in their lives. It's already here. It's already making our lives better. If you have bread and cheese and wine and beer, it's already making your life better, right?
Seriously, come on, people. Like COVID was the whole, I'm going to make sourdough bread. Like that, it was the movement. It's already here.
At home biotech.
And you've jumped on board. So let's just keep that going. Make a donation. Go over to the BioBuilder website, make a donation, and it's clear as day, a little button up there on the right-hand side. Go make a donation because anything and everything helps. It helps our next generation. If you're like me and we don't have little ones, who gives a shit? This helps us. It helps change our world, change our lives, and everything for the future going forward. I think we've touched on a whole lot of reasons why this is really good. I think we've explained it really, really well. But Natalie, is there anything that I have not asked about? Is there anything that you would like to share that's like critical for people to know?
Maybe I'll just say one personal thing and then one BioBuilder oriented thing. And maybe I'll just start with BioBuilder and say that the privilege of running BioBuilder is that I hear from the students whose lives we have changed. And it's a great privilege for me to be getting those emails and to see them on LinkedIn, just growing and being amazing. I will say thank you for encouraging people to support our work because I see the impact that we make, and it really makes a huge impact in people's lives. They say, I didn't know I was a science kid and I am, and now they're scientists, right? And I didn't know we could do this in a poor school like mine, and you don't need fancy, it's just we're teaching them what they are capable of and starting them on their path. So there is that about BioBuilder, and please know that it does make an enormous difference at the personal level for the students. And then just personally speaking, I do find that leading an organization continues to teach me, and it's very gratifying. It is wonderful to learn, and I love leading this because I continue to learn. I think as soon as you think you know everything, that's when you stop learning. So I know that in leading this organization, which I had never planned to do, right? Never thought I'd be running a nonprofit organization, right? But now we're in, every state in the country. We have impacted about 87,000 students over our existence. And we're
You're
just
going
really proud of it.
international too, aren't you?
We are international. We're in about 80 countries. I underestimate that a lot, but yeah, we do have a lot of international adoption as well. So it's been really gratifying. It continues to teach me, and that's a real joy. So thank you for letting me share my joy in running this organization, the challenges, and also the growth and the excitement.
Thank you for being so open, so honest with me, with our audience. You know, choosing your own path, everybody, listener, choosing your own path is never going to be easy. It's never going to be a straight line. And that's strictly because that's your path. You get to do things the way that's right for you. You get to carve out with your own personal machete the circuitous route that's going to get you to fulfilling all of your dreams. And part of that is learning how to think, learning how to discern what is right for you, when is it right for you, what is not for you, and how can you respect that just because something is right for you doesn't mean it's necessarily right for someone else, and vice versa. There needs to be this space where we can respect each other as we grow. And that comes from learning critical thinking and being able to have these non-judgmental conversations. And that, at the end of the day, is the essence of learning science. It's why I am a self-proclaimed honorary member of the Science Nerds. I absolutely love it. I will continue to dig into this and go down the rabbit holes of my life. I hope that you do too. And Natalie, I know that you will.
Yeah. You'll pull me out of your feet first.
Not a doubt in my mind. I'm just going to dive in there with you. Thank you so much for being here. Listeners, thank you for listening. Once again, in the show notes, scroll down. There will be a link to the BioBuilder Educational Foundation. Please consider making a donation. That's the whole reason why this episode exists. Visit the Podcast-A-Thon website. You can find out more podcasts and learn about more nonprofit organizations. This is a worldwide event, a 5-day worldwide event. So find a nonprofit that you can get behind, that really speaks to your heart and soul, and give a couple of dollars. Every single cent makes a huge difference. Like I said, to keep the doors open and to keep the lights on. It doesn't get any more basic than that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. I love you, Natalie. Thank you.
Love you, Lee.
Okay. That's it, listener. Before you go, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and set your notifications to never miss an episode. If you'd like even more with me, come on over to nagarelife.com. And if you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, go on and share it. Share it with somebody that you think would enjoy it as well. All right. I'll see you next time.